Hey my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, and today I am messing around a little bit on the 7.3 PTR. This is keeping in fashion with kind of how the Legion content Steam engine has been rolling through our lives here. Like seriously, 7.2.5 just went live, and we got 7.3 PTR already. What I'm gonna do is, instead of just doing gameplay through the whole of that intro quest, I'm going to, while there will be spoilers in this video by default, which should be up in the title, just so people know, but I'm also telling you here as well, because we're going to talk about dungeon journal stuff and things like that, and some lore points just that I'm personally interested in. But I don't necessarily want to completely spoil the whole thing for you guys. Like, I want to, if you guys want to play through that first section, I want you guys to be able to do that on the PTR, or if you really want to wait and just wait until it comes live, I want you to be able to experience that for yourself, such and such and so. Plus, this video would just be way too long if I did the whole thing, plus went through the dungeon journal and bosses and talked about lore stuff. So I'm going to play through this intro section however long it is, and then once we get done with all of that, we'll pull it back, we'll pull up the dungeon journal, we'll talk a little bit of lore, we'll talk about some of the cool stuff coming. And yeah, so see you guys there. Alright, so this is the third time I have attempted to record this segment of the video, so hence wearing 3 different shirts basically throughout the course of getting this video done over the weekend. It should not have taken this long, but yet here we are. We're gonna make it happen. I actually almost didn't do the video as a whole, but I figured, you know what, I got the first half of it recorded, so we're gonna keep going. So now that we've got intro quests done up to a specific point, it is still PTR, so I really can't play any farther. It bugs out, crashes if I try to progress any farther along the quest line. The big thing that I want to take a look at here, we're down here on the middle of Argos, basically on what is known as the Crocon, or just Crocon, Crocun, sure, why not? Hanging out down here with some lovely folks. I want to take a look at dungeon journals, so dungeon, raid, world boss, and a bunch of other stuff like that. So for starters, the whole map of Argus here is what we're looking at. It looks like it's going to be a 3 zone world that we're on, so here, here, and here. And then we have as well, over here we're having a new dungeon added with 7.3, which I'm personally really excited about, mostly because if for no other reason, this is Blizzard keeping their word and them saying that they were wanting to do more 5-man content. Mythic Pluses being in the game already keeps 5-mans pretty relevant throughout the course of the expansion, but continuing to add more dungeons definitely keeps it fresh, which is very, very nice. So now we're looking at 4, 8, 12, 13 dungeons total for Legion, which is the most we've had 5-man content wise in a very, very long time. And technically 14 if you really want to consider the fact that if you want to, you can break Karazhan up into the 2 floors, but we'll just count Karazhan as 1 dungeon. So the 5-man dungeon that we're looking at here is the Seat of Triumvirate. Triumvirate. I can never say that right. Every time I've tried to say it, I get that wrong. Anyways, this particular dungeon, based on what we're looking at boss-wise, looks like there's going to be a heavy void influence. Now, we're going to start talking about some of the lore stuff here. If you are familiar with Warcraft lore at all, you understand and already are comfortable with the thought concept and process that Blizzard has already put in place. Basically, that the Burning Legion exists because Sargeras wants to destroy the void. The void is, of course, the void lords themselves, not the little pets that the warlocks can summon, but the actual void lords themselves, like the dudes that are above even the old gods. How, again, this is going to be a quick TLDR for it, but how it basically works is each of the planets that we've encountered throughout Warcraft lore has a slumbering titan spirit. And of course, the Titans are desiring to create more people basically in their image, or awaken more Titans so that they have more people to do Titany things with, is the quickest way I can summarize that. And so they go and attempt to awaken these slumbering Titan spirits. But once Sargeras found Azeroth, he discovered that it was corrupted by the void and thus not worthy not worth saving and needed to be destroyed because it was a risk. The rest of the Titans did not agree with him. Sargeras did anyways, hence starting the Burning Legion. And again, like I said, it's a very TLDR for it, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I really want to get into the dungeons and such. But so we're looking at that from that point on. Sargeras turns on the Titans, kills the Titans, basically destroys their physical bodies. But we're getting into a lot of crazy lore here in this patch as well, because we're going to see some of the Titans' physical manifestations, which is crazy. But I'm going on all this rant to talk about this because we're seeing a lot of void here in this particular dungeon, the Seat of Triumvirate. We have this dude here, Zeral the Ascended, who looks very much like these guys, who I'm pretty sure we've confirmed are not broken. They just look like the race that we know as the Broken, i.e. the Draenei. So, which is nifty. I'd be curious to see how that plays out and how we hone the fine details on that. But he's got a little Two-Face symbiote suit action going on here. He's got like a little piece of himself left here, but the rest of him is just completely overtaken basically by the void. No description yet lore-wise for him yet, so we'll kind of skip on ahead. We're seeing the reuse of the ethereal model, which is very, very cool. These are the dudes that help us transmog our items for maximum DPS. But we haven't really seen these guys in a huge role necessarily since the Burning Crusade. And their models definitely have not been updated since then. And so it's kind of cool to see these models being revisited and stuff like that, especially some new textures on them as well, different robes. We've got some new beast models here, which is really cool. The Duskwing will be a model that we're going to see reused for a mount for us as well, which is really, really cool. And then we have this dude who looks like he's straight out of Avatar. Not The Last Airbender, but Avatar as in Fern Gully 2. So pretty spiffy there. Excited about that. Saprish is his name, and in conjunction with his pets, works to debilitate his targets before. So no lore yet on him either, which is fine. We have Viceroy Nazar. So we're tripping on over to some Star Wars territory here. We got the Viceroy in here, but again, just like, I don't know, just enjoying the different model. Again, some gnarly wicked shoulder pads looking there, the tendrils and claws and stuff like that. Just it's refreshing to see some old models like this revisited and updated. And perhaps the biggest point of lore that I could foresee in this dungeon is the fact that we are dealing with another corrupted Naru. Anutsu, I believe we'll just go ahead and pronounce that. So we got more void here. We got one of the greater rift wardens. Sorry, my eye itches for some reason. We can see one of the voids there, and then of course we have the wandering void, so little creepy dudes there. So again, heavy void influence here on the dungeon, and especially when you consider the Naru are like the hierarchy of the light when it comes to Warcraft mythos in the universe, and you have the Void Lords who are kind of the hierarchy of the void and darkness. And so it's interesting that we see yet again another Naru corrupted. I believe the only other one we've seen blatantly corrupted like this was Muru in the Sunwell Plateau. So crazy. I'm curious to see what the implications are going to be, what explanation they give for this. We get no lore there on that yet either, which is fine. But either way, I think honestly 4 bosses for a 5-man dungeon kind of feels like the sweet spot. 3 can feel short depending on the dungeon, and then anything past that can feel really, really long, again depending on how big the dungeon is. So it looks like it's a decent sized dungeon, which would be good. Lots of trash, I'd imagine, through there. All of this looks like it's a fair sized dungeon. 4 bosses, and 4 seems like a fair amount, to be completely honest with you. Next, I want to take a look at world bosses here for a second. Now, there's not models in the game for all of these guys, which is unfortunate. But we're going to take a look at as many as we can for the time being. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new world bosses, which is fairly generous, especially if they're going to be on a rotation like we've experienced so far with Legion. No plans as of yet, from what I've heard from Ian Hazakostas himself, just based on some of the stuff I've been reading, interviews I've seen him doing with other YouTubers and such. No plans to update any drops off of previous world bosses, since the goal is to continue moving forward. Obviously, you're still going to want to do those world bosses for chances at legendaries and Arcano crystals, depending, of course, on if you have it or not and still need it, because that is still a best in slot trinket for a lot of people. But as far as like keeping up with the item level and stuff like that, all of these new world bosses are going to be dropping what's going to be par for the course. So we're looking at kil'jaeden, which is a very cool model, if I do say myself. Looks like, again, one of the Valajar from up in the Halls of Valor, which I'm very, very excited about. Love the molten cracks on his skin. And then we have Voidblade Zerat, which, again, another ethereal model. Different skin and color tone, which is cool, and some of their ethereal blades there coming off of his arms there. So kind of a scary looking dude, I'm not gonna lie. We have another Imp Mother, basically, Mother Akina or Mother Fulnua? Matron. So one of those names is accurate. Cool. Succubus World Boss, wonderful. So she'll just distract everybody and try to tempt them away as we go after her for loot, which is totally fine by me. Kind of cool that we're seeing like demons. Like, I mean, not necessarily, not that I was expecting anything other than demons, but like it's not all just like Void Reavers or like, you know, things like that, the Fel Reapers and things. We're actually seeing powerful demons, which is kind of cool. Inquisitor Percantatum, Percantatum, Percocet. No, the Inquisitor. So there's that. And it looks like world bosses will drop 930 gear, which is kind of, yeah, actually I should have looked at that before. That'd have been handy to know. So baseline 930 gear, which is pretty spiffy if you do ask me. I'm okay with that. Then we have another one of the one-eyed cretins here. Ovitigo, I believe is how you pronounce that name. It sounds like a food dish, I'm not gonna lie, or something you'd yell after a good meal. And then we have this bruiser here, Satanathar, which almost sounds like I'm saying my name. That should just be my, like, that's it. I'm just gonna rename myself. I'm not Ultimus anymore, I'm Satanathar. That's just all there is to it. I love the shoulder pads, I'm not gonna lie. I love the shoulder pads. I'm getting like some like kind of, I don't know, like, I don't want to say Marvel vibes here from some of these characters in the way like these dudes are designed with their big old armor and stuff like that, but it kind of gives off some Marvel vibes. And no images yet for Pit Lord Valimus, Valimus, whatever, Valimus. I can't speak tonight. But I'm guessing he's going to be a Pit Lord. That's my guess. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be a Pit Lord. Next, we are looking at Antorus the Burning Throne. Now, this raid is going to provide a whopping 11 bosses, I believe it is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 bosses. That's pushing Ulduar status there, if I'm not mistaken. Huge raid, which is kind of cool. Especially considering it is the last raid of the tier, is going to be my best guess. I can't imagine another raid coming after this. If it is, it'll be a smaller raid, but it's a huge raid. It is a huge raid. Very, very excited about it. So in this particular case, we do have Garathai Worldbreaker or the Apocalypse engine, unless there's a bug here. But overall, the model looks very, very cool. Very similar to the one that killed Varian, or Varian killed, vice versa. It was kind of a trade-off, unfortunately. But like, this thing looks like it means business. Like, it's not just the simple Void Reaver, I keep saying Void Reaver, Fel Reaver that we remember from Outland. Like, that thing was terrifying at the time, but as you can see, the Legion has definitely upped its game. We do have a little bit of lore here on Garathi Worldbreaker. Constructed deep within the core of Argos and outfitted with an arsenal to decimate worlds, this war machine has been designed to bring the army of light to its knees. Next, we have the Hounds of Sargeras. No lore on them, but they are quite adorable looking puppies, if I do say so myself. After we kill them, I have a feeling Sargeras is not going to be too happy if these are indeed his hounds. So it looks like Faharga and Shatug are the names. So Faharga and Shatug. We have the War Council next, which looks like it's going to consist of 2 bosses. if I am not mistaken. Although it does say a trio of demon commanders, so I'm not quite sure what's up with that, unless we're looking at Portal Keeper Hasabel as being one of the council members as well, but I don't think that's the case since she is listed as her own boss in the journal, so we'll have to wait and see what the third one looks like. But I do like that we're seeing some female Eridar models. Like, this isn't really something that we've seen ever. Like, everything up to this point has been dudes that look like this, which no problems with. They look really, really cool. kil'jaeden's a cool looking model, you know. Archimon is a cool looking model, everything like that. But we've yet to see any female Eridar, so kind of cool to see that model being used and stuff like that. The shoulders are very, very cool, along with the arm plates there, the gloves, the wrist, I guess. I don't even know. They're not technically hands, so they're wrists. Cool looking stuff there, I have to say myself. And then, of course, as we lightly touched on previously, we have Portal Keeper Hashabel herself. We see sample text here, or temp text here, so nothing there for any lore yet. But again, we're seeing another piece of the Eridar female model, which is really, really cool. We have Eridar Life Binder, which unfortunately it doesn't look like there is a model for yet, so we'll skip on down. Iminar the Soul Hunter, nothing there. This dude has a model, Kingaroth. He's a lovely looking guy. He's got no legs, so that means that he's either going to be sitting in something, I would imagine, or he's going to have like an ethereal type genie bottom half. But he's interesting looking, that's for sure. He is an interesting looking fellow, and it does look like he's going to summon some Fel Reavers. Got it right that time. We have the Molten Annihilator, the Searing Decimator, and the Abyssal Demolisher. So we've got green, red, and purple, blue, one of the two. Either way, I'm really curious to see how this fight's going to go down. I would imagine you're going to fight all three of them regardless. I can't imagine it's going to be an RNG type thing. But again, stuff like this is cool because it's a completely unique model. Again, I like it. It doesn't feel like we're fighting something we've seen before, which is nice, especially because we are on Argos. We're on the Legion Homeworld. This dude right here has seen better days. We're looking at Varimithras. Sure, that sounds good to me. This is what I get for recording so late at night every time. But from what I've heard lore-wise about this dude is apparently he has failed Sargeras a few too many times, and he was locked up here on Argos, and now he's been tortured. As you can see, they did not hold anything back. He's got skin missing on his arm, which is just lovely. He's got the shackle over here still. He's got, looks like, spikes going through his legs, which is just brutal if you really think about it. And he's missing half a wing, so there's that. Like, this dude has been torn to shreds. So if anyone's going to be pissed in this raid, it's going to be him, because as far as he's concerned, we're the reason he's failed. He's trying to regain his good standing with Sargeras and the Legion as well, so I have a feeling he's going to put up one heck of a fight. But it is quite cool, one of the Nathrazim. Again, really unique model that we've seen. He's not typical to Tichondrius or Mephistoth or whatever that we've seen so far, but again, a very unique and different model. A twist on the original, which is really nice. The Coven of Shivara, which again, same thing, twist here on some pre-existing models, which I do like. I love those swords. Not so much what you've done with your hair, but that's okay. We're seeing 4 unique models in and of this encounter in of itself, too, which is really, really cool. So we have Nura, Mother of Flames, Asara, Mother of Night, Dima, Mother of Gloom, and Thureya, Mother of the Cosmos. Oh my. So, lore bits on these ones here. We have Shivar Priestesses tasked with torturing and brainwashing the souls of the mighty Titans, which is a big deal if you stop to think about it. We're talking about the Titans themselves. So, curious to see how that's going to play out, if it's going to have any bigger significance in the raid, if we're going to have that elaborated on. Assault the raid together from within their temple, deep within the core of Argos. So everything that I'm reading so far basically says we're actually descending into Argos itself, like we're going into the core of Argos, which is kind of crazy to think about. Do I have any? Nothing on Vermithos, so do that. But yeah, very happy with these models. I think they look great. Again, just the different take on stuff we've already seen. It's nice. It makes it feel fresh. It makes it not feel as reused, which I dig. These two are pretty similar, but that's fine. And then these two are fairly similar, different enough though, so I dig it. We have Agrimar himself, which is kind of cool to see. I have his boots. They're not my favorite legendary. I'm not going to lie. I think I've used them never. But his model more than makes up for that, because this is a sick looking model. Again, just the flaming rage coming out of his eyes. His body is cracked. There's molten crevices all throughout it. It's great. I think it's cool looking. No lore bits on him there, unfortunately. We'll have to wait. And then we have Argos the Unmaker, which there is unfortunately no model for yet. I'm going to insert a picture that I can pull off of one of the WoW databases or WoWhead and stuff of his data mined image, so you guys can see what he looks like, and he is sick looking. Like, to me, I love like the blue that's going on here. I think they did a really good job with him. I was definitely expecting some Fel takeover on him, some Fel influence, but there isn't any, and it's kind of nice actually. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that he remains his own unique model. He's definitely given me Thanos and Darkseid vibes though from Marvel and DC. Just throwing that out there again. I know it's like twice now I've referenced Marvel and DC here in this video, but I get that vibe from him, especially when he's considered and called, what is it, the World Destroyer. Let's pull that up again. Hold on a second here. The Unmaker, Argos the Unmaker. So I mean, it's fitting. It's fitting. He looks sick. It's really cool. So I'm really curious how they're going to pull all this together, how they're going to bring all this together, how they're going to pull it off, especially knowing what happened to the Titans already. You know, Sargeras himself, he killed and destroyed their physical forms. So what we're dealing with here as far as, you know, bodies and stuff like that, hosts, husks, whatever it is, very curious to see how this is going to play out. I'm very excited for the raid. I'm very excited for the patch. One of the other things that we're getting here with 7.3, looks like we're getting some new weapons and shields. Now, I can't click on these for whatever reason. I have managed to see this sword somehow, and I don't really remember how. In the dungeon journal, because before it was the first thing that showed up, now we just have the staff and shield, which is cool, I guess. How we're going to get the weapons, I don't know. They might be some type of rep reward. Wow, that is harder to say than it should be. Rep reward with the Army of Light, in the factions that we're going to be messing with when we land on Argos, which is very interesting. One of the other things I noticed while being here too, and I really hope this is just temporary, is there is no flying. Now, I am not particularly attached to flying one way or the other. I can live without it. I enjoy the game just as much without it. But now that I've earned it, I would like to be able to still use it in future patches for Legion. So hopefully that gets sorted out. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot I'm going to show for the rest of the video, just for the sake of spoilers and time, because I also don't want to spoil everything for myself as well. But like, as we can just continue to see, like, this whole place is just great. Eventually we're going to find ourselves over in this direction over here, just like temple over there. Like, looks like a busted up ship basically. Temple something or other. It's cool. I love it. I am insanely excited for this patch, and we just got 7.2.5. So overall, very excited about it. Oh, you know what, I did want to show mounts. I want to talk about mounts. We are getting a new Talbuk mount model for Argos, which is pretty cool. Because again, as you'll notice, there's a very recurring theme here for the Talbuks, which again is nifty. I think I do like the War Talbuks the best, personally, particularly that one. Tan's not bad. I'm just a fan of armor and stuff like that. This one's pretty cool too. But we have these dudes that we got from Draenor, which are also similar but unique looking. And now we have the Argos one, which again has more of a curved horn to it. He looks a little angry. You know, he's not having the best day. So just enough of a unique model to feel like a new mount, which is really cool. Very excited about that. Right, one of the next mounts we have for 7.3 is a reskin of the mount that you're going to be getting out of the Dreamweavers. Double check that. Dreamgrove. Forgot my hotkeys aren't working here at the moment. Hold on a second, because I'm on PTR. I forgot. Yeah, the Dreamweavers. So the one you get out of your Paragon box is basically what you're going to be looking at here for the Lucid Nightmare. It's a purple reskin, which I'm a fan of. I'm like a little bit bigger fan of purple than I am green. Just personal preference. The darker color is always cool, but it's a cool looking mount. I'm definitely glad that this mount was kept in the game and added as something that could still be earned, but I'm definitely glad that it didn't stick around as a gladiator mount. Glad that was the thing that was changed. Next mount I want to talk about here, arguably one of the coolest mounts ever added into World of Warcraft. I love these quirky, silly things. It's a Dark Moon Zeppelin, basically, or however you pronounce that word. Dirigible, whatever. It's a Zeppelin, and it's cool. I wish it was a two-seater, but it's cool looking. Looks like 1,000 Dark Moon prize tickets from the Dark Moon Fair itself, so shouldn't be too difficult to get. Just takes a little bit of time out of your weekend. Next time the Dark Moon Fair comes around, and yeah, it's cool looking. I think it's sweet. This might be something that I actually go out of my way on the Dark Moon Fair to get, so I can get this mount just because of how much I like it. It's pretty cool looking. So kudos to Blizz for adding kind of a quirky, silly mount into a portion of the game that is definitely heavy on some like pretty dark, macabre lore. So pretty excited about that one overall, I must say. One of the newer mounts that I personally am more excited about as far as models go, just because I think the model itself looks cool, is the Mana Ray. This is a black version. I don't know if there are going to be other color variants. I would imagine there are. There usually are. We might even see one with some armor on it. But it's really cool looking. Even just like the little details of like the little like back and like rolled up little blanket there on the back of it. I just think it looks cool. It's silly little details like that that kind of get me drawn into something. But it is a cool looking model, especially because it is something new that we haven't seen before in World of Warcraft. So I think it's going to be well placed, and I'm excited to go after it. Drop zone to be determined, but the fact is it's coming. And lastly, the mount that is causing all sorts of just bumps in the night. Look at this thing. This Shackled Azul is how it's pronounced. This thing is horrifying. This is the stuff of nightmares. Like, this is like some Resident Evil, Dead by Daylight, whatever the game was recently that all you had was like your video camera and you had to escape the insane asylum. I'm not a huge horror game player, but this thing is terrifying looking. Just all these faces just melted and just kind of chimeraed on here almost. It's just, ugh. And even the lore on it, just like formed from the tormented bodies and souls of fallen members of the Army of Light. The Azul is both fascinating and horrifying, and indeed it is. Like, each of these faces has like a different like expression on it. You got this guy up here, I got this dude who's just angry. This guy, he's just like happy to see you. And this guy's got his jaw moving back and forth like he's just grinding his teeth. Like, don't do that, dude. Like, your dentist tells you, don't grind your teeth. And then this guy down here just looks like he wants out. And whatever that is in the center there, it's just a jaw. It's like, ugh. It is cool looking, but this thing is nasty. Like, this is the first mount that we've really had in World of Warcraft that is actually just disgusting. Like, if you look at it, like, this is basically like horror-esque Diablo type stuff here. Like, this is pretty macabre. This is pretty disgusting looking. This is gruesome. So for the people out there that are tired of flying around on dragons and fairies and other random mythical creatures like that, this might be the mount for you, man. I'm imagining we're going to get some other color variations of this as well. My personal bet is that this will probably be something that is going to drop off of a boss in the new raid, Argos, or it will be a reward for your achievements type thing, or maybe you're ahead of the curve type thing, or whatever it is, like for killing, you know, mythic, whatever his face is. So that's kind of a thing. We're gonna look it up real quick. Mythic.
I can't attack that
Maybe
target.
for killing mythic Argus. I don't know. So either way, some cool stuff coming. I'm looking forward to it. I'm still amazed at how quickly we're getting content for Legion. Like, I'm just blown away that we've had 7.2.5 for a week and 2 weeks, I think, tops, and then now PTR for 7.3 is already up. Like, this is just crazy. But I don't know how much else of the PTR I'm going to play. I might keep my eye and ear on the notes and stuff like that and hop on back and forth to test out some class changes depending on how those look. Because, of course, the struggle is always spending time on PTR means I'm not spending time on live progressing characters. And since I'm managing 3 characters right now, probably 4 soon, so we'll see. But let me know what you guys are most looking forward to in 7.3. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What are your thoughts? I don't know. How do you guys feel about us being on Argos? I'm personally really excited about it, especially for the precedent that it sets for the rest of World of Warcraft, like the potential that's there. I think the mounts look cool, stuff like that. So let me know if there's a favorite feature of yours that you're looking forward to with 7.3. Looking forward to checking them out in the comment section down below. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. You can follow me on the different social media platforms that are listed throughout the channel. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram. If you'd like to connect there, I'd love to hear from you guys and get to know you more there. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.